Hey guys, Mike here. Just wanted to tell you about Surfshark VPN before we started the video today. It is Black Friday week right now, which means that you can get 83% off and 4 months for free with Surfshark VPN. Not only that, but you can actually use it to get better deals. We'll log in here. We'll go to the United Kingdom because we're from London. And then we will go to Best Buy and you can log in from different countries getting the best of every single type of Black Friday deal. You can also go to Netflix, since we're all at home right now trying to avoid the vid. You can go to Netflix and you can surf Netflix shows from other countries. Like right here, you see the top shows rated in the UK. You can hop around from country to country. They encrypt your data. They've got all sorts of awesome stuff. You can surf the net safely and you can save money. So again, check out Surfshark VPN, get their Black Friday deal and get other great Black Friday deals. They've got an ad blocker. They've got an amazing price. They've got 24/7 support, unlimited devices, all sorts of awesome stuff with Surfshark VPN.
Return to Revenge of the action movie shit.
You guys thought we forgot about it? You ain't no Daisy. You ain't no Daisy at all.
Anybody seen Richie?
Where's he at?
Hello, Lentos. No, I say we'll be closed for renovations about 2 months. Steven Seagal's good movies don't go very far past 10. He has about 10, maybe 11, at the very most 12 decent watchable movies, and then everything past that, you just stay away from that.
Did you see Japanese Tokyo Hammer? By the way, I'll tell you what, I gotta respect one thing about Seagal is like he totally embraced the straight to DVD lifestyle. He's like, you know what, it's working and I pay my bills, so fuck it.
Yeah, like I said, there's like I'd say anything after, which it didn't make our list, but anything after Half Past Dead with Ja Rule is just like completely unwatchable. It's that bad. It's that awful. But those first 10, 11 movies, honestly, I think it's only 10 movies.
Yeah, there's probably
11,
only 10.
Maybe 11. But anyways, number 10 on our list, one that was, it's not one that's talked about much. Most people don't ever mention it or include it in Seagal's movies, but if you sit down and you watch it, it's actually pretty fucking good, and that's The Patriot. This movie predicts some shit, dude. It predicts some 2020 shit. I'm not gonna fucking lie to you, it really does, dude. He's a ranch hand, he's a dad, he's doing his whole Commando, Arnold Schwarzenegger thing with his daughter or whatever. He's like, you want some eggs? You want some eggs? Don't put too much hot sauce on that.
I'm just a lowly cook.
He's like, you know, when you mess up on your schoolwork, you get that from your mother. When you do good, you get that from me.
If you got an F, if you lived at home with him, he'd slap you in the face.
Dude,
he'd be like, you think this is fun?
He'd grab you by the, he'd do that dick grab that he does in his movies.
And they you would try to like, if you ever try to go against your dad, you'd be like, fuck, he'd be like, when you try to fight him, you go,
dude, in all of his movies, he slaps the shit out of his co-partner. He's like, what are you doing? Come over here. Come on. He like smacks him and fucking like hits him over the head and shit. He treats everyone like shit, even his friends.
By the way, this movie's not going to be on the list because he was barely in it, but Executive Decision was a great movie, and I know somebody will call it out, but he was in it for 20 minutes. So you can't really. He slapped John Leguizamo around for a while, but
in real life,
but he's not in the movie. Really,
YouTube that shit.
That's fucking crazy.
After this video, but no, The Patriot, man, it's so crazy. So there's a Waco type situation. He's a ranch hand, he's living out in the middle of nowhere, whatever, and he's an immunologist because in all of Steven Seagal's movies, one thing that you'll learn is that he's great at every fucking thing.
Yeah, and he doesn't lose a goddamn fight.
Yeah, someone could be ice skating and he'd be like, I'm a professional ice skater.
Yeah, he really is.
He's great at everything. But in this movie, he's an immunologist and he's just trying to live his life in peace.
First off, no one would ever look at him and say, you're an immunologist.
Dude, he's like a scientist at all.
It's like, you really are a scientist? It's like, yes.
It's not the only movie he is in.
And he'd be like, yes. Come over here and watch me break wood.
It's like, what? He would try to tell you exactly how it happened.
He got that shit at Arizona State University online.
There's a Waco situation where these militants, this militia had started. By the way, the bad guy in this, can't remember his name. He's actually a really good actor. There's this militia that started, and it's basically the we saw off our shotgun shells, and we're that we don't care what the government. We're staking our claim. And Steven Seagal even says in the movie at one point, he's like, you know, there's no law against playing army. He was like, but in every group there's assholes, and that guy, he's an asshole.
I'm not gonna lie that even though I know he's probably not as legit that he said like he claims he is, if he were saying that to me in real life, I'd be like, "Where can I find you?" She does. Like, I just believe
like half baked, like I don't know why, but I believe him, yo.
You know what it is? He's got fucking charm off the page.
He really, really does. The whole town gets infected. The government gets called, and they shut down this whole little area. And then they end up taking it over. And Steven Seagal he literally finds the cure by his Native American grandfather's red tea. Mm-hmm. But there's literally a scene in the movie where he's talking to army people. He goes to the army and he takes them horseback and he fights all the guys and there's all that shit like that. But at one point in the movie, he literally looks at an army guy and he's like, "Why aren't you wearing a mask?" And the army guy goes, "Man, I thought it was bullshit. I didn't think I needed to wear a mask." I mean, there's so much 2020 shit in this movie that ties into COVID, you won't fucking believe it. But not a whole lot of action. But there's enough, and finally, the penultimate scene, it does end in him using a wine glass to impale someone's head, so that counts as
you gotta throw in one crazy fucking kill in a Steven Seagal movie. And look, the reason why it's number 10, I don't think it's that memorable of a movie. I like it a lot, but at the same time, there's not, like Mike already mentioned, there's not a lot of great movies that he did. But at number 10, it's solid. It's not a bad movie. I like it. I like his jacket.
Dude, he's got a cool ass jacket, man. You've also got his buddy that was the ranch hand. You've got the hard target thing with his uncle kind of going on with those two. But I will say this, the thing I'll say about The Patriot is this: if you are a Seagal fan and you know most of these movies and you've been sleeping on The Patriot just because you figured it was another one of those direct to DVD things, give it a chance, check it out. I think you'll be surprised. The last 3 movies on this are basically Seagal's social justice phase, which movies that we hated when they came out because they weren't just him kicking people's ass. Mm-hmm. But now that I'm getting older, I've learned to appreciate them. Number 9 is On Deadly Ground.
Yeah, one of those movies, again, I haven't seen in a long time. I can just, there was like oil fucking fields. That's where it kind of started going downhill for Seagal. Like when The Patriot and On Deadly Ground was coming out, you're like, yeah, he's losing his steam a little bit at the box office. Like you can just feel it. But I think that did go to theater.
It did go to theater, and again, it was at the end of his heyday, and it was his own doing because he said, it's not about the box office. I really want to do this.
Squeegee his fucking ponytail. He
forced his hand with this shit, and it gets fucking weird. I hated it when it came out as a kid, but I just watched it the other night, man, and I gotta tell you, it's not that bad of a movie. The actors in this movie, dude, the bad guys are Michael Caine, the dude from Scrubs, I can't remember his fucking name, the really good actor from Scrubs. He's a bad guy in a couple action movies. He's in this. Billy Bob Thornton's one of the bad guys in this, dude. Just the bad guys alone in this movie are some top-notch ass actors.
Now that you mentioned Michael Caine, I'm like, yeah, now it's striking a familiar chord.
He has that spray tan fucking black.
You know what it is? I swear, man, it's because it's like I think I looked at On Deadly Ground. I'm like, I'm not gonna watch that shit again. I like it, but it was one of those things that it passed over, and I'm like, yeah, it's not the old Seagal.
This will make you remember it, dude. It was the one, the gas man from Dumb and Dumber's in it, the big guy, you know. Mm-hmm. It's the one where he goes in the bar and they're fucking with this Native American guy. The guy's like kind of
oh shit, yeah.
They're beating the shit out of him, and he's like, "You call me Cupcake?" He's like, "Are you a man? You're a man."
Oh, I remember.
And he makes him do the hand slap game, and he beats the shit out of him. What happens is he ends up going to this territory full of these Eskimos or whatever because they're poisoning the water with the oil and shit like that.
I think that's where I checked out.
Yeah,
what the fuck are you doing there?
He goes on a crazy spiritual journey, and he has these crazy dreams where there's these naked Native American chicks flopping around all over the place, and it's just really batshit crazy fucking cuckoo weird. But in the end of the movie, there's really good action scenes. There's an awesome action sequence on an oil rig. Again, I will say, if you're a Steven Seagal fan and just like you, haven't checked it out in a while, I recommend actually go back and checking it out.
I feel like this was an idea that Steven Seagal literally brought to Hollywood.
He literally did, dude.
He's like, listen to me. I've been rubbing my Buddha beads for a while. I'm going to tell you, I think I should save Eskimos. We're like, what?
That's how big his head is.
Yeah. He was like, I think I should save Eskimos. I should go to Antarctica and save the Eskimos. They were like, they don't even live in fucking Antarctica. It's like Alaska.
And LaFleur's in that, dude. LaFleur from Mallrats. He's a fucking solid, like badass bodyguard type that Seagal beats the shit out of. I definitely recommend going back and checking it out on Dale. And dude, not only that, but at the end of the movie, he stands up in front of this audience and he gives this crazy speech about like environmentalists and how like cars and shit are damaging the environment. It's actually pretty fucking good.
I'll tell you what, man. Again, he's a great actor, man. Like in his own way, he really is a great actor.
I honestly think like I'm watching some of those movies and he has bad lines because he's always got the eyebrows down no matter what he's saying. And some of his lines are bad, but sometimes I'm like, that was a good scene.
I think the problem with him though is he has changed his fucking like nationalities so many times. I don't even know who the fuck he is.
He really does.
Like, he's either Asian or he's Japanese, or he's Japanese or Chinese, then he's Native American, now he's Spanish, then he's American,
Dude,
then he's Native
black in
American.
a couple movies.
I'm like, what the fuck are
I'm
you?
not gonna lie to you, it really is.
I feel like Arnold Schwarzenegger coming down, like, what the hell are you?
Dude, he changes his accent depending on who he's talking to, and you can even watch him do it in the movies. At number 8, lastly, as far as the social justice movie goes, is Fire Down Below.
Hey, you know what? It's from Kentucky, man.
Came to Kentucky to
Came
save
to-
us little redneck people from all them bad oil guys.
You know what? I remember that was the last time. That was the last time I remember going to a movie theater and watching the Steven Seagal movie and watching On Deadly Ground, because they made it. Well, we live in Kentucky and not shit happens here except for fucking KFC and a horse race.
It was a big deal. We're like, Steven Seagal's here, man.
I was like, hey man, they filmed it in the goddamn state of Kentucky. Yeah, I went and watched it. Now I got to be honest, I think it was a good movie. It was actually not a bad movie. They had the dude that played Whistler. I think Whistler in Blade was the main bad guy.
Chris Christopherson, yeah.
Chris Christopherson, great bad guy. They had him, but I think it was because I wanted to see if Seagal would adopt a redneck accent, and he goddamn did a little bit. The funny parts where I remember is like, you can have that more than that, son. When he was fighting that dude in the fucking bar, and I was like, dude, that is so what a Kentucky bar is. I kind of dig that movie.
Yeah, and that's another beautiful thing that Steven Seagal won't get credit for, but in some of his movies, he has a way of, his character seems like they call him Cupcake, or they make fun of him because he has a ponytail because he does the beads and the Buddha thing, and everybody calls him, a pansy and stuff like that. So he has a way of acting like he's not shit, and then all of a sudden just fucking people up left and right. It's just so dumb because this is one of the quintessential movies where he's great at everything. Like I said earlier, like at one point he goes over and he's in like the creek area, and he's got these little vials and he's like testing the water, and this little kid's like peeing in the water, and he's testing the water. He's like so smart, and then he goes to like a hoedown, and all of a sudden he's like, hey man, let me see that guitar right there, and he gets on stage, and it's not him, even though he does play good guitar. They cut off his face, so you only see the hands, and he picks it up, and he's like...
It's like your dad that thinks he's great at like almost anything he does. And
Exactly.
You're like, oh shit.
One of my favorite parts about Fire Down Below, though, in all Steven Seagal's movies, is the overdubbing from the guys after he kicks their ass. Like, at one point he gets in a fight with these guys, and the guy's like, I said leave town, what, you too stupid to understand it? And he's like, I don't give a shit what you say. And he kicks all their asses, but he hits one guy, and the guy's laying on the floor behind him, and you just hear him go, man, I ain't never been hit that hard in my fucking life.
I remember that. Yeah, that shit was funny as fuck. And I even like that twerpy ass fucking son. Because I hated him. I hated him so bad in the movie. That's when you do a good job as an actor, when you hate him so bad. So
he got it good though, because he wouldn't even fight Seagal. Seagal walked up to him and he took his boxing gloves off and smacked him with it.
He was like, stop. He was like, stop.
And then they put the snakes in his truck, or they put the snakes in his house, and then he puts it back in their truck.
I remember not liking that movie that much, and then I guess later on, as not just because we're from Kentucky, but honestly watching it, I was like, yeah, it's not bad. It's actually a pretty decent flick.
Okay, now we're getting into the real good shit. Number 7, Under Siege 2.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that don't like dark territory. You don't want to go in that crack.
You never go ask them
You
out.
never go to that crack unless you ask permission. We ain't in Oz. But no, yeah, dark territory, man. Under Siege 2. I think it's one of those movies that really has, for me anyway, aged pretty well. As far as like, it came out... Under Siege was such a classic, great movie, and everybody was expecting Under Siege 2 to follow the same kind of vein and was going to be just over the top amazing, and it kind of was a slowed down kind of approach, but dude, it was great in its own way. I mean, it's one of those movies that you got to go back and watch and appreciate what they had and the cast they had around them. First off, what's her name? The one that was in...
Katherine Heigl.
Katherine Heigl, before she was an asshole. She was in this. And then the dude from The People Under the Stairs is one of the main bad guys. Perfect guy. When he does that pepper spray thing, he's like, it just tastes like banaka. I was like, woo!
I love that guy.
And, I loved everything about it. I felt like it was kind of cheesy and corny, and of course it was, but... I don't know. Like, I watch Under Siege and I watch Under Siege 2, and I gotta say... Sometimes I have a little bit more fun watching the second one than the first one.
Sometimes you're just in the mood for it.
Yeah, the first one's great, but the second one, man, it's unique, man. It's so weird and it's so cool. Like, I don't know, I like it.
It's far less military than Under Siege is. So I think sometimes you could be in the mood for that one. Even
I feel like he was tracking down Bill Gates with a virus.
And the main bad guy, the curly head Paul Reiser looking motherfucker, that's the main bad guy in Uncut Gems, by the way. Most people don't know that, but it's the same bad guy that's in that. But not just him, dude, but the bad guy from The Mask is in this too.
Yeah, I love that guy. That guy's great too.
Yeah, you had 3 good bad guys in this movie, and like just him, he's caught on a train. He's trying to protect his niece. I think she's his niece in that one. There's some great action scenes in it.
Ryback.
Yeah, and dude, there's just it's got a lot of problems with it. You know, some shit in it's just flat out dumb. And it's not on the level of Under Siege movie-wise, but popcorn quality-wise, it's pretty fucking great.
When you say some shit of it, like in it is like dumb, but it's like that one part where he has the laptop and he's like, "You're telling me there's no way I'd turn that piece of shit off?" He's like, "No way." And he's like, shoots it. He's like, "That's one way." like, there's so many like different moments in the movie that really add up. I don't know. Like there are boring parts of it. There are parts that are like so stupid that you can't really get behind. But overall, man, it's a fun ass. As far as the sequel goes to such a blockbuster hit as Under Siege 1,
yeah.
I'm down with it. I've literally watched Under Siege 2 maybe more than Under Siege.
I
think so.
Even though it failed critically, I think it coming on the heels of Under Siege. I think he did one movie after Under Siege, and then he did this one. Coming on the heels of his ultimate height of success, it's maybe his most blockbuster-ish feeling type movie. It felt like where the other ones felt like low-key kind of action movies. This one felt more like a Broken Arrow, type movie. It felt like a bigger movie.
Kind of looked like it too.
It had more fanfare around it, and I still love that movie to this day. Mm-hmm. And again, 3 great bad guys, and Steven Seagal and a good bad guy, and he had 2 physical specimens in Everett McGill and the dude from The Mask to fight. Both great fights.
Did he lose? Fuck no, it's Seagal, sir.
One thing I love about Seagal, and I also hate about Seagal, is he's never ever gets his ass kicked.
He never
you watch these movies, you almost never see him get hit at all. And just one time, I want that. You know, Broken Arrow, the last fight at the end, Christian Slater gets his ass kicked the entire movie by John Travolta, and then the last second, he wipes the blood off his lip, and he fucks him up. I always wanted one movie where Seagal had a formidable opponent, he got his ass fucking trashed, and then the last second, he was kind of the underdog Van Damme type, but his ego was too high to ever get his ass kicked in a movie.
I've only seen him, like, I think one time someone punched him, and like in the movie, I know he was probably trying to act, but he looked genuinely pissed. He was like, "Who the fuck?" Like, I know after that scene was shot, he was like, "Who the fuck snuck that in there?" Like, there was no way. Like, I know he choreographed everything, and they're like, "You don't punch me ever. You don't lay a hand on me. I don't even care if it's a finger." And somebody went like that, and he was like, the way he looks mad, he's like I was like, that guy's fucking pissed for real because like someone touched his face.
Yeah, dude. I think it's hard to kill where he's in a bar and someone hits him in the leg with like a pool cue, and I was like, fuck.